Hello there, villagers. Welcome back to another video here in Stacy's Random POV. And as always, I like to pride myself in bringing you guys topics that will have you think and will give you a different perspective. And today is no different. However, this one is not going to be the best kind of conversation, but try to stick with me. As you guys can see on your screen, what you are looking at is Mary Frances Winter's book, a picture of it, right? That specifies in details what exactly is the Black fatigue, explaining and also pinpointing our day-to-day struggle and a systemic racism developed and modified often to making our lives miserable. And of course, there was somebody, because of the discussion with that weird woman who called a child a nigger in Minnesota in the park, there were a lot of white people and coons alike defending both of these women, believe it or not. And they're just extremely shameful. And especially the people who are defending this a special woman who don't seem to understand or fully grasp the meaning of Black fatigue, whom supported her in her disgusting behavior towards a toddler. So in the middle of this woman explaining her defend for this woman whose name I will not mention, she pinpointed the Black fatigue, how the racist white people in this country are going through their own version of Black fatigue. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the discussion around what this woman said. And also, I will be showing you the opinion of other creators and of other people who have an opinion about this. So keep that in mind. Again, you guys already know how I like to do things here. Subscribe. Once you subscribe, you become a member of this village. You love this village. You appreciate this village because, baby, it takes a village. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this matter. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about what other people have to say about this matter. I can't wait, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.
Let's talk about Shiloh Hendricks, the woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest, the kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this, because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman.
Sometimes I genuinely wish I was stupid, because if I was, what you just said would have sounded so cool. White supremacy is a parasite. It latches on and it takes and it takes and it takes. You take our music, you take our style, you take our slang, you take our language, you take our environment. You take words that were created by the Black community for protection and understanding, and you co-opt them. Because what the hell is Black fatigue? It's a thing. Black fatigue is a real phenomenon, a real scholarly phenomenon that describes the Black experience. What you're describing is just racism. Every day, I truly understand how Donald Trump won, because his base is stupid. Don't read. Because Black fatigue is a phenomenon that was coined by Mary Frances Winters, an author, and she wrote a book called Black Fatigue. Black fatigue is the exhaustion born of the day-to-day small acts of aggression or small acts of disrespect a Black person endures. Racism. The fatigue of Black people by way of 400 plus years of racism and white supremacy. One population of people through centuries of chattel slavery. After that, they go to Black codes and Jim Crow. After that, they go to segregation. After that, they go to 40 plus years of the war on drugs, police brutality, school to prison pipeline, etc., etc., etc. In 25, we are sitting under a president that is trying to roll back everything we fought for over the last 400 years. So yeah, we're tired. I want to make it clear that Black fatigue is not being tired of being Black. It is being tired of the racism that comes with being Black. And again, y'all don't read. Here's an article published by medical doctors in the American Heart Association Journal that describes structural racism as a fundamental driver of health disparities. Black people, due to the centuries of racism and white supremacy that we have experienced in America, contributes to Black fatigue and a numerous amount of health disparities. A drop in quality of life, a drop in life expectancy, more susceptibility to diseases, COVID-19, heart disease, etc., etc., etc. We're not even going to get into the fact that you used the situation where a white woman called an autistic Black child the N-word as a way to get this stupid ass point off. Nah, we ain't going for that.
The woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest, the kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this. Because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs. Every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. But for the love of God, please leave the children out of it. Adults are stupid, they're gonna do stupid things. But you're a different level of stupid when you bring kids into it. Thanks for coming to my
Before I let you guys hear what this coon-ass coonery have to say, I'm gonna warn you, this guy is not one of the smartest in the pond. However, I like to remain unbiased, and I will play in full what he had to say about what she had to say. And also, I can't wait to hear what you gotta say. Let's go. Let's start this discussion.
So basically what this woman is saying is that two things can be true at the same time. And I said this the other day when this whole situation first broke out. And then we had the panel on Monday night where I basically said that white people are starting to get fed up. And that is the whole premise behind Black fatigue, is that nobody wants you to continue to play victim for the rest of your life. They tired of being held accountable for things that their ancestors did. They tired of you blaming all of your failures and the things that you weren't able to accomplish on white people. They're tired of you sitting there saying that you're a victim every single day, regardless of what your circumstance is, regardless of what you've been given, regardless of all of the affirmative action, regardless of the fact that you're saying that you're the most educated, but really you're the most enrolled. They tired of you blaming your debt on the system. They tired of you saying that white men are the problem. They tired of you asking for programs, and they're tired of being held accountable for the decisions that you're making every single day.
She'll be watching her back for the rest of her life. Yeah, because that's not thuggery, hydrattery, animalistic. This is why people have Black fatigue. When you act like this, it's not normal behavior. People do stupid stuff. People say stupid stuff. That's life. It's not normal to threaten to unalive people because you don't like what they're doing. But here we are. People are getting sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired. We're tired of it. But then whining and complaining and acting like it's not your fault that you act that way. Yeah.
And so that comment proved her right. And for whatever reason, y'all think that white people don't have eyes, that people that are not Black don't have eyes and they can't see how ghetto a lot of this is. And then I have to pay for it because I got to go outside and then account for what you did.
This man honestly makes me sick, and he baffles the mind to believe that there are really Black people, Black women and Black men with this type of mentality, with this, oh yeah, they can see, they are this. Can't you not see that you are being used as a puppet, as a house ninja, basically and literally, so that they can keep perpetuating this type of BS? And I am sick of it. For one, I am sick of it. And I hope and pray he doesn't have any offsprings.
People are tired.
Who is we?
I was looking that shit up, like, what the hell is this new hashtag coming out? And it looks like I got it, and a lot of people do. Aren't we all tired of the same fucking people looting fucking stores and mass looting and just getting away with it? Burning and looting and rioting every single time there's a decision made that doesn't go their way. Ignoring accountability for themselves 100%, blaming everybody except for the criminal. Literally propping up people that unalive people based on race. It's always about race. Can't even enjoy a cruise ship. Can't even enjoy Disney World. You go to spring break here in Panama City, it was fucking ruined by the same group of people. We are fucking fatigued. It's getting fucking old. And then you get one fucking girl that's a racist, and that's all motherfuckers can talk about. What about the fucking people that are fucking doing all the crimes? You're propping them up. It's not about the crime, it's about the race, and we're all fucking tired of it. We're fucking fatigued. This shit needs to be talked about, because if we don't talk about it, it's never...
I'm just glad that these MAGA supporters, well, let me not just blame it on MAGA, because believe it or not, before MAGA even came to be, there were literally people like this. I just love that they're showing themselves.
Never gonna stop. It's only gonna...
And you know what? I'm going to use the hashtag Black Fatigue so that the whites making that content see this video. Black fatigue already has a meaning, and it's not the one that you think it is. Black fatigue means the emotional toll, the exhaustion inherent in living under systemic racism and having to deal with that shit day in and day out and live in a society and a culture that is, the deck is stacked against you and the rules are made to discriminate against you and make your fucking life harder. That is what that phrase means. You are co-opting that phrase and making it into something fucking... Just say what you fucking mean. All the people who really genuinely seem to believe that their First Amendment rights include the right to avoid any kind of social consequences for the things that they say and get so fucking butthurt about their fucking free speech, let me tell you, they understand. They understand that they are going to have social consequences from the shit that they say. Some of them do anyway, which is why they co-opt phrases like black fatigue. This is like when a narcissist goes to therapy and learns all of the therapy language so that they can then go out and try to gaslight and abuse all of the people in their lives. If you don't like black people and you're tired of hearing about black people and hearing from black people and having black people around you or in your face or in your culture, just say that. You're using a phrase like black fatigue to try to make what you're saying sound like it is some sort of intellectual discourse that we're having. This is not intellectual discourse. This is you're a racist and a bigot. Just be a racist and a bigot. Oh, what? Are you afraid of the social consequences of that behavior? Gasp, let me clutch my pearls.
My mutual Marie made a video talking about black fatigue, and I wanted to piggyback off what she was saying. Because it's wild to me how non-black people swear up and down they're just so tired of black people. Tired of hearing about racism and anti-blackness. Tired of being called out. Tired of black voices, black issues, black content, yada yada yada, just so fucking tired. But somehow y'all are never too fucking tired or fatigued to steal from them. And you weren't even too fatigued to steal the term black fatigue. It was a term literally created by a black woman for black people to describe the toll of surviving anti-blackness. But somehow y'all managed to rebrand it to talk about your little fucking burnout on TikTok. If I'm really tired of someone, I don't want shit from them. I'm not copying how they talk, how they dress, how they act, what they create. But y'all make blackness your whole fucking personality while having the audacity to say you are tired and fatigued. You are not tired. You are fucking obsessed. And you're not victims of black fatigue. You're the reasons why it fucking exists.
Every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs. Every single...
I don't. I've never been... I've been called homophobic slurs by white people, but not...
Sussy white people throwing around this term, black fatigue. No, what you are feeling is racism fatigue, is white supremacy fatigue. You know how exhausting it is to try to prove you're not a piece of shit all the time, when in fact you are being one? Like, imagine having to defend yourself frequently, even if it's up here internally, from the fact that a community or multiple communities of people are like, hey, you're being fucking racist. No, I'm not. I don't see color. Except black on black violence, which isn't a thing. So maybe I do see color. I think immigrants are okay as long as they're white immigrants from South Africa and not immigrants that are not white. Like, the constant cognitive dissonance y'all have to live in as a white-bodied person that doesn't give a fuck about humanity is what is exhausting you. Imagine if you just wanted to be a human being and view everyone else as a human being. You could do that. You could choose to do that. But instead, you want to cling on to your whiteness, which is being put on full display from the Trump administration on down, and you think you're the superior race or whatever the fuck ever is in your brain, and that is being proven to not be true at all right now. And it hasn't been for centuries. It's not true. It's just not fucking true. So what you were feeling is the fatigue of trying to push your humanity away and stand on your bigotry. That shit gets exhausting. You don't have to do it. It's a reflex for a lot of white people, but you can walk away from that shit. You can walk away from whiteness. So what you're saying is you're exhausted from hearing the truth about yourself. That we're exhausted as a white collective of hearing the truth about ourselves. It wouldn't happen if white people collectively didn't show up and vote for a fucking Klan member. 1 out of 2 white women, 3 out of 5 white men wanted it. Yeah, you're going to get tired of trying to prove that you're not on the wrong side of fucking history. And you are. History will not be kind to you. Your children will learn about how you chose to stand on the side of open white supremacy. I'm sorry if that's exhausting, but you made the choice. You can also make the choice to fucking walk away.
I've been hearing a lot about black fatigue recently, and I want to talk about it, but I can't do it here at home. We gotta go on a trip. We are at Plaza Ferdinand VII, and that's a Confederate monument. And you wouldn't know it for looking at it, but this park you see behind me, 2 men were lynched here. Across the street, we have the Pensacola Museum of History. There's a little sign right over there, remembering votes for women, that somebody spoke here. And despite how beautiful this park looks, calm and serene, two men hung from lampposts. Not these ones, because the lampposts have changed since their deaths. There are all kinds of signs and monuments at this park. We have the excavation of a British fort map of downtown Pensacola, statue dedicated to President Jackson, plaques commemorating a trail, big old cannons pointing to nothing, fun signs on the trash can to remind people to throw away their trash, dance moves, but absolutely nothing commemorating the deaths that happened here. Oh, but Ben, that happened so long ago. It's all up to this guy. His aunt, Lily Davis, was unalived by somebody, and the man that they captured, Leander Shaw, never saw his day in court. Why? Because he was dragged here to this park and hung from one of the lampposts. That woman's niece was also here, even though this happened over 100 years ago. Her niece and nephew were here protesting. What were they protesting? They were protesting that the Equal Justice Initiative was collecting soil from the location of every lynching in the United States, including here in Pensacola. The organizers of that event allowed them to put up a photo of Miss Davis and light a candle in her memory. But despite the fact that Leander Shaw never saw a day of court, they still think he was guilty. We have no idea if he did this or not. So all of you out there complaining about black fatigue, I'm tired of this kind of shit. I'm tired of white people complaining about things that happened in the past. I'm tired of white people blaming black people for things that they didn't do or preventing them getting a day in court. We see it today with Carmelo Anthony. He needs to get his day in court. So many white people, especially on this app, they just want to call him guilty and be done with it. Where just a few decades ago, they'd have had no problem collecting a posse so that afterwards they can celebrate. Whiskey for my men and beer for my horses. I really wish people who look like me could remember the words of a wise woman who once said, you should be happy that black people are looking for equality and not revenge. I hope you all have a good day.
There was a white woman who has now since deleted her video talking about black fatigue and how she and the rest of society are so fed up with the ghetto and ratchet behavior, the entitlement, the victimhood. Her words, not mine. A couple of things. One, black fatigue is a real thing, but it's not what that lady was saying. Black fatigue is the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by the daily stress of living under systemic racism and its consequences. So the black community has black fatigue due to the oppression they've lived under in this country since its inception. Two, it never ceases to amaze me how little most white people are willing to look at the true history of this nation and understand that while they personally may not have owned slaves or lynched black people or used black babies as alligator bait or conducted experiments on black people or operated on black women without pain medicine because they didn't think black women could feel pain, they are still benefiting off the society and systems that made those things possible. Racism is deeply rooted in this country from the beginning. We stole this land from the indigenous Native Americans. We brought black people to this country against their will and sold them into slaveries. We ripped their families apart. We have maligned, maimed, and misused the black community since the first ship arrived on the shores of the United States. Do you understand how hard the fight has been to get even a semblance of equality in this country? And now, what little progress we've made is being undone by this administration. Trump and this administration has made people like that woman and the many racist commenters on that post feel comfortable to speak so publicly about their racist views and feelings. Because, spoiler alert, nothing will happen to them. Black people are questioned about everything they do, even if they're just walking down the street. Until this country as a whole accepts responsibility for how we were designed and built, this country will never see true equality.
Black fatigue? This is where we at now? Imagine how we feel. Y'all even colonized that. Like, black fatigue is not what y'all created it to be. It was the fatigue of black people having to exist in this country and dealing with all y'all dumb shit. We were tired, not y'all. Imagine telling the internet that you're tired of all the ghetto-ness and the ratchetness and all of the fights, when y'all are quite literally the godfathers of violence in this country. And then all the ghetto and ratchet speak, your kids are emulating exactly what we say and calling it Gen Alpha and Gen Z speak when it was just AAVE repackaged to be palatable for white people. What are we talking, like, y'all are quite literally exhausting. But like 8.5 by 11s are gonna do this all the time. I'm not worried about the hueless. However, the black people getting on and co-signing the black fatigue to make white people feel better could not be me. I imagine agreeing with white people when they aren't even picking you. Super weird. But like, sure, being held accountable for your racist ideology. If I were white and I had to constantly hear that black people are right and then it proves out and you're sitting there being mad, yeah, I'd be mad too. I too would be annoyed if I were half the age of black women but looked twice as old as them. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. So like, hold your black fatigue and raise yourself some accountability. Because oof. Happy Monday, y'all. Black fatigue, shut up.
Why is racism coming back? More buzzwords to justify it. The newest one is black fatigue. Before that, it was DEI. You understand there's never anything good enough for these races, right? Let's explain what black fatigue actually is. Black fatigue is actually a book on how racism erodes the mind, body, and spirit and explores systemic racism and its effect on black people. These racists aren't even smart enough to know the definitions of the words they're using, such as DEI. Why are we giving them any attention? And why are they increasing in number? Most people that are racist have zero black friends, have never interacted with a black person in their life, but they're somehow racist still. Because they're chronically online. You chronically online people need to get a life. Yeah, you're chronically online. No wonder you're so scared and angry at everything all the time, and you're looking for an outlet. And for some reason, that expression comes to making up some new crazy buzzword to be obsessed with a group of people that have no idea who you are and have never thought about you, but your entire thought process is on them. We're actually talking about race in 2025 and justifying 5-year-olds getting called slurs with autism. What? And I go outside in real life and none of y'all are outside. They're chronically online. But go ahead, keep dropping your videos. We're gonna find out who you are. We will. We're gonna find out who you are. Please make more videos. Honestly, I'm convinced a lot of racist people just got rejected by a black person or felt rejected, and this is like their...
Forget Mother's Day, it's more pressing issues at hand. A black woman coined the term black fatigue to talk about how exhausting it is to undergo racism. And you guys have spun it into something that is innately racist. And what's sad is it's not just white people, it's black men, black women. On my For You page, I'm literally in enemy territory talking about how they don't want to be around black people because they're ghetto and they're loud and they don't want them in their Are you not black? And in turn, y'all are opening the door in your comments for more racist people to talk about how they are anti-black and use this term in a way that it literally wasn't meant to be used. I don't understand why my algorithm thinks I even want to see black fatigue the way y'all are using it. Are you serious? And it's honestly disgusting. And then they're saying like, oh, we're tired of black people blaming white people for their problems. Do y'all understand that we are literally still segregated? There are certain neighborhoods that literally have no grocery stores. Their education system sucks. The people don't fucking do anything to the potholes and shit in the road because they don't give a fuck. Like, that doesn't happen in certain neighborhoods. Y'all understand that that's still going on, right? You could even look at something as simple as content creation. Black people don't get paid as much as white people for their content. Their content doesn't even get pushed sometimes as hard as white people's because of an algorithm that looks at them and doesn't want them to be seen. Hello? So it's not, when things have not changed much in however many years it's been, you can't really say that people are making excuses when they're still being oppressed. They're still undergoing racism. Like, what do y'all be on?
For a bunch of white people and coon black folk that's having so much black fatigue, y'all surely didn't have enough fatigue to come up with a term, be able to define that term, and then make content on that term, and then use that content to grow your pages and have a full-fledged page about black fatigue. You can't be that fatigued. Anytime I've been tired and fatigued, I went and took a nap. There wasn't no make pages. There wasn't no add extra work to my day. It wasn't none of that. So if you're so fatigued, why keep bothering folk? If you're so fatigued, why gentrify black areas and then try to live in them? If you're so fatigued, why do your women continue to cosplay black women? If you're so fatigued, why do you constantly use the police to micro hurt black people? Like, literally policing black people's every fucking move. If you're so fatigued, why don't y'all pick it up and find an area that you feel that all your white counterparts want to live, and y'all could literally just... Y'all are giving money. Y'all are giving everything. Y'all can afford to go and move, but instead you come to black areas and bother us. You can't be that fatigued. You can't be that fatigued to enslave, capture, and move millions of people from their homes unwantedly, and then be fatigued that we're here. Ma'am, hand me my reparations so I can go. Thank you.
ugh, black fatigue. We're gonna stop listening to black people. Blah, blah, blah," said someone who lives in Davenport, Iowa, and knows 1.5 black people. You don't live by black people or interact with black. You get all your information off TV shows and what Fox News. Who cares? Good riddance. God, racism is so cowardly. Like, what happened? People used to say it with their chest. Now they're all skittish and all these code words. Like, we don't know what that means. 2 questions. A DEI and how do you feel about Lamar Jackson? I know exactly what you are. But we have to, for some reason, keep this charade like, oh, okay, let's have discourse. It's good riddance. What good could you possibly be to me?
No, brother, what? We can't allow you to divert from attention. Stick to the topic. Who the fuck is we? Do you even know who you are in this conversation? Do we even know what black fatigue actually means? See, the fact that Black Fatigue is actually a book about black people dealing with, coping with, navigating the systemic racism issues that are in play and not seeing enough progress, going through it. That's what it means. But once again, colonizers be colonizing, right? So they're white-splaining their lack of understanding of what black fatigue is, and then you're running with it. The same way they did with woke. The same way they did with critical race theory. But let's play a game called We and They. When we are fighting on cruise ships, when we are looting or damaging property in our own communities, they don't really care. You know why? Because when we do that, we don't bring any harm to them and their community. But when they pass legislation that reduces career opportunities and advancement for people of color, when they do things like freeze the Civil Rights Division of the FBI, reducing opportunities to have federal oversight for egregious systemic racial issues, and they feel so emboldened that a racist white woman will call a slur to a 5-year-old child and then be able to raise almost millions of dollars and have millions of people supporting her under the disguise of freedom of speech, we have a fucking problem. Please tell me you don't play chess, because if you did, you'd understand the chess moves that have been made around you, right? They reduce our job opportunities. They reduce our ability to fight in the courts to get justice. And now what this clown and many others are doing right now with this whole black fatigue campaign is an effort to drown our voice. That's what they're doing. They're trying to desensitize people to the point, while racism is on the rise, and we have who we have in the Oval Office, they want it to a point where people don't care, won't hear what black people have to say, even when we're voicing things that are absolutely happening every single day to us. This is all by design. Now, you won't know that because I look at your page and I see that you spend more time talking about liberals and chastising, mocking Kamala Harris, which tells me everything I need to know about you. But Martin Luther King said it many times and made it very clear that the riot is the voice of the unheard. So right now, they're trying to reduce our opportunities to affect us socially and economically. They're trying to reduce our ability to go to the courts or to escalate things, because where are you going to go? The Department of Justice, the Supreme Court, and now they're trying to numb the world to our pain by ignoring our voice. And when we have no voice, then we have no way to communicate what's really going on. And that's why I checked this clown from the original post at the door he tried to come through. Because they want us to become a powdered keg and riot and get into the streets, because that's exactly what they're trying to push us to do. And see, in 2025, we are not standing for the bullshit. Not from this clown or nobody else. We know that. And they know that too. You don't, which is why you speak with the oppressor's tongue. And you know why you don't? Because like them, you are not like us.
Oh man, he did not lie at all when he said what he had to say. And of course, I had to leave him close to the end because everything he said was spot on. If you guys have gotten this far, thank you so much. I hope you already liked the video, and I hope that you already subscribed to the channel. Again, once you subscribe, you automatically become a member of this village. I have one more video to show you, but I cannot do it without letting you guys know that I really appreciate you, and I hope that you are enjoying this content. Let me know what we should talk about next.
They're calling it black fatigue, but what you really mean is I'm tired of loving wounded black people. You can just say that part with your chest. That's what you wanted to say. You're not tired because we're toxic. You're tired because your love had conditions. Yours. You didn't come to heal, you came to curate. You came to save a version of black society that was already fixed, and no one praised you for it. And when we didn't perform your healing fantasy, you called it draining. This archetype always shows up during collapse, the one that confuses proximity with pain and with proof that they're better than it. Right? They have proof that they're better than it. That's how they see it, right? But you have to understand that you're not above the wound just because you narrate it from a distance. You're just protecting your image in the mirror while the rest of us are still trying to stitch it back together. You didn't transcend us. You abandoned us. Real black love doesn't tap out when it gets loud. It doesn't leave when the wounds resurface. It metabolizes. It listens longer. It doesn't call the hood low vibrational just because it got a better apartment. Love doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. And some of y'all don't have love for us, and that's cool. That's what I'm trying to get it at. It's cool, but I need you to know that the left is something you can get over. You could, right? And if you really tired, rest, right? If you're actually tired, but don't call that healing. That's retreat, because this ain't fatigue. It's spiritual gentrification we're watching, and these are spiritually gentrified people. You're not leaving because you're broken. You're leaving because our brokenness didn't fit your aesthetic anymore. And I need you to hear me clearly. We are not your inconvenience. Okay, we're not. We are your mirror, and if you truly heal, you'll still be here with us, not above us, right? So I get it, right? This is one thing I think is absolutely true. You do not have to like every black space, but don't ever use fatigue as an excuse to stop loving the ones who never had that option to leave. Just stupid shit. I wanted to tell a joke in this video, but these people upset me a lot.